All right, this is the extended Gamut Podcast. Wait. And the Slightly Serious Sign Podcast collaboration episode. So we've got a lot to talk about. Today's episode is going to be focused on the ISA Expo, which we were both just at. Stay tuned for our thoughts on ISA.
All right, here we go. We've got some guests. We've got Mike and Tyler from Wensco. Really excited to have you guys here.
Hey, we're happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
This was our dream come true, really. This is what we had to start a podcast because you guys wouldn't have us here. Then we started one. Now we get to be here.
Yeah,
we had to see how it went with you guys. Then we're like,
it must have went okay.
Yeah, it went okay. Your podcast is way funnier than ours.
We talked about being on this podcast before we started our podcast. We said maybe if we can do our own podcast, they'll let us on.
Prove
if we can sound anywhere remotely intelligent. So apparently we must have just barely passed.
You did it.
So
no,
we got to be
flying
here.
colors.
You guys are going to need to be careful because when people, their whole life dream is like to win the Super Bowl, when like the day after the Super Bowl. So like tomorrow, you got to be careful because like you're going to be on a low and you just know that going in.
Yeah, we're going to have to set a new higher goal after today. Yeah,
like, what's this life for?
You're probably right.
You'd be playing Creed all day.
What's next? Joe Rogan then must be next.
Yeah, must be. Yeah. We might as well just go as big as we can. Yeah.
If you get on Rogan, bring us with.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yeah. So we're excited to have you. Thanks for making the trek down. And we can do a little collab podcast.
So we're all coming back from ISA this last week, right? International Sign Association trade show once a year. It's probably our second best show of the year after Printing United. And we had a booth there, and we saw you guys were walking the show as well. So I think it'd be cool to give kind of a recap, kind of our perspectives from working a booth, from walking and seeing vendors, seeing everybody, just kind of our takeaways from the show. So I don't know if you guys you can start us off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just start with my question for you guys. What was it like to exhibit at the show? Like, we don't usually exhibit at any of the bigger shows. We do a lot of the regional shows. So what's that look like from your guys' perspective? Was it attendance good? Were the buyers there? What did that kind of look like?
Yeah, we were really happy. I mean, we were going back, and I think it was from a quantity of like hardware sold at the show, it was probably our number one, which we, the thoughts for 3 months leading up were like, people are just hesitant right now. They're just waiting for ISA. And you're like, all right, am I just saying that? Or is it like actually going to happen? And traffic was pretty good on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, it was actually, I felt like even better. And Friday, I was telling you the other day, up until about 2 hours before the end of the show, it was strong. Sometimes you're just waiting for it all to fall off a cliff. And we felt like it was solid traffic, people that were, I do think, walking the show, just making sure they weren't missing anything, ready to spend some money. So I thought it was pretty good from that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought there were more serious people kind of looking to buy printers and that kind of thing at the show, even more than Printing United, I think. So, yeah, it was strong.
Yeah.
I think like on our end of the business, at the end of the last year was slow for equipment. So that would make sense that they had the money but didn't want to spend at the end of this year, and they're feeling more optimistic this year. So that's good to hear.
As we walked around the show, I heard a lot of people saying like, oh, this just seems smaller. It's smaller. And I talked to the people from ISA, and they were like, we actually have more exhibitors here than we've ever had before. And some people were thinking, well, your last show might have been Printing United for some of these people. And that's just a larger show in terms of attendance and square footage. So they might have been thinking of that versus what was the last ISA show, which was in Vegas.
Yep.
And so they said it.
Yeah,
it was in Vegas.
Well, I noticed a lot of the people had smaller booths than they had the previous ISA.
A lot of the manufacturers.
A lot of the manufacturers had a lot smaller booths. Like you saw some that were in 10 by 10s that were in 30 by 30s the last show. So you wonder, are they not doing good, or they just scaling back? Like, I mean, some of them I ask, we won't say the names, but it's your guys. If it was ours, we would say the name. But
well, like I noticed Ultraflex didn't have a booth there, which that kind of surprised me. It seemed
3M wasn't there either.
Yeah. So it's just interesting.
Oh, so we are saying names.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I didn't want to say
wasn't there.
Yeah.
Wensco definitely wasn't there. I mean, we were there, but we weren't having a booth. But I mean, I could have set a chair up and been as big a booth as some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other? So as far as walking the show and seeing, you mentioned smaller booths. What were some other takeaways that you guys had kind of as you walked the show?
Yeah, we didn't see anything super new. Like you thought you'd see a lot of new, but it's and we were obviously out to look at different LED suppliers besides the one we have. But we didn't see anything new, and we were super busy. The first 2 days was just meetings. We have, obviously, a big majority of the show are, we sell their products. So like this person wants to meet with that person, and then we don't book anything on Friday. So Friday was our only day where we could actually like relax, walk the show, see what there is. But to be honest, there wasn't anything that was like, oh, we should have this or we should have that. Yeah. So basically just went through a bunch of LED guys, a bunch of vinyl guys, bunch of different equipment. And we do look at the other equipment, like not just the stuff we sell, but what are we selling against too?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys could do the same thing where it's like, oh wait, we don't sell that, but go look at it. And
we
probably should sell that.
Do you try and like, are you incognito when you go into other people's booths, or you just come out and...
Especially me, I'm pretty well known. There's no chance of me being incognito in a lot of these booths. Like they know who I am before I walk in. So like, but no, we'll just walk in and talk to them about it. Like, a lot of them are trying to sell you their stuff anyways. Like, there's a lot of other vendors that would like to sign us up that, we don't need them. We have too many already. Like we have too many active SKUs as it is.
Right.
So we just walk in and see what it is. And, I'm looking to see like, if it is something new and great, maybe we need to sign that manufacturer up also.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't see anything that like, oh, I need to have that.
Yeah, we're pretty familiar with all the other, like even on the equipment side, with all who would be our reps at those companies. Like we've talked with them, we've met with them, we've seen their equipment. Because like I said, you don't want to miss out on anything, right? If there's something great out in the market, you're like, yeah, we probably should bring it on. And so we know most of them. So they're not really going in like incognito most of the time. You've already met the people that are in the booth. So you're just like, yeah, we're here to check it out again. And they'll still try and just sell you it, right? Like they would normally because they would love for you to bring it on. But there wasn't anything super new at the show. It was kind of the same old. Epson has some new stuff out there, at least relatively new.
Right.
Roland has some new stuff out there, but none of it's like, hey, we haven't seen this yet. Here it is at ISA. Like there's not much of that out there. So I don't know if that's super different, but it felt different.
And we sell HP, and they didn't really have anything new. I mean, they had all their current technology there, but it wasn't like there was a new printer. Epson was there, and their one new printer was the P20000 replacement, which is a 64-inch fine art printer. Yep. So that's not really associated with the sign industry, but that's what they had there. And then they were showing a couple printers that they showed at Printing United that still haven't launched officially. So they have a new desktop or benchtop t-shirt printer and UV printer, but still those aren't shipping. And then what did Roland have something that was new, or was it?
No, they're doing the same thing. Roland and Epson are both doing the same thing, right? They're both pushing in this desktop, small. I can't remember what does Roland call it? Small office, home office, something like that. Yeah, SOMO, right? Anyways, small format printers.
I have no idea.
So maybe Soho, small office, home office.
Could be.
Maybe
or is that New York?
Mojo?
Mojo.
Yeah.
I think I delete those emails.
I don't know. He told it to me, and I thought that is a terrible acronym, but you guys can run with it. So, but anyways, they're pushing the same thing. So they have a new like UV desktop. They have a new DTF printer as well in there, but they're not like new. We've probably seen them for 6 months or so. But for people at the show, it's probably the first time they've seen it, because I don't think it was at Printing United.
Yeah.
So for shows, it's the new, but for us, it wasn't anything new. So that was kind of the same thing. Epson's right. It's the same thing we saw at Print United. Mm-hmm. A few less 3D printed parts on these ones that they brought to the show, but for the most part, it's the same printer. Yeah. So yeah, nothing new.
Mamaki had something new. It was a gentleman named Timothy Mitchell, who is now heading up all their experience centers. He was previously at HP and then went to S1 LexJet.
Yep.
And now he's over at Mamaki. So he was there doing the demos of
you see that things. Almost every show I see that, where it's like, wait, I recognize you, but you're in the wrong booth. Yeah, you got the wrong shirt on.
Yeah.
Like you see that. I mean, sign industry's known for that. Like you start here, you end up there, and then your final spot's there, so you're walking through, and a lot of times it takes you off guard. Like, hey, who's that? And I've actually done it before to like the guys that banner up. Like I happen to be at Regional Supply in Salt Lake City, and he's walking in. I'm like, hey, let me sit at the front counter real quick. He comes in, he sees me right away. He's like, you can tell the look on his face is like,
Very confused.
you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So, but the same thing. You walk by and like, you're in the wrong booth with the wrong shirt on. But
We refer to it as the sticky business. Nobody's allowed to leave. Like once you start here, as long as you've made it past the 12 or 24 month part, you just never get to leave. All you do is rotate from business to business. Same show, different polo. That's all it is.
Well, now you see even like in our level, like our competitors, like you see this sales rep. Wait a minute. You're working, and it's like people you're competing against are like they flip flop shops.
Yeah,
and not that we don't do it. I mean, if you look at if we had all our sales reps at our booth, like you would see like, oh, that's an Advantage guy. That's a Grimco guy. So they all do it. So we do it too.
Andy almost got in trouble with the banner ups guy one time.
No, I didn't. That was Colin.
Someone else did.
He's like, try to tear this down.
Try to tear this. Try to tear this.
One rip. He's like, well, don't pull it that hard.
Don't tear it that hard. What's wrong with you?
He ruined his whole demo.
We did that same thing. A guy came in. It was acrylic. It's not breakable. And he handed it to me, broke it. Handed to me another one, broke it. And he's like, how are you breaking it? So he hands it to somebody else. They can't break it. Well, you're dealing with someone that like, I've been picking up transformers my whole life. Like my hands are pretty strong. Just snap. So
I learned you bench like 315 pounds.
Yeah. I have a video of me 315 12 times. So I'm probably in the 4 range, but I'm way too old to be doing that. And usually my only spotter is like Nova, who's 6. She's not going to pick it up. She's not going to be able to help me.
You're on your own at that point.
To be fair, there's nobody that's going to pick it up. So
and,
you're on your own.
Yeah, and I still have old school bench, so like there's no like safety, but I still try it. I just go for it sometimes.
Just go for it.
I saw this like TikTok the other day, and it was people. Some guy walks up to people that are like working on. He's like, "Hey, what do you bench?" And they'll be like, "I don't know, 280." He's like, "All right, how about I give you $280 if you bench 280 right now?" And can't do it. And he walks up to another guy like, "What do you bench?" 230. All right, I'll give you $230, and not one person could actually bench the number they would say.
Yeah. So you got to undersell yourself.
So like, I bench 315. I bench at 3:15 p.m. He's awake.
Yeah. It's just a little 15, the blue and purple dumbbells.
On March 15th.
315s. He's holding 3 of them.
Yeah. What we like to say, you're heading over to the yoga section to get your dumbbells. You're not benching no 315.
Well, you got to stretch.
No.
Yeah. So back to the show. I don't know why I was surprised, but there was a lot of direct to film printers, DTF printers. And I say, I don't know why I'm surprised, because every show I go to, it's like, it's just taking over.
It's different people every time, though, still scares me to death.
The fact that
the fact that you see that, okay, you see this, you see all these DTF, you go to the next show, it's a different group of people with a different machine.
With a different badge slapped on it. The same machine.
Yes. So it scares us. We got one guy at our shop that thinks it's the future. The rest of us are like, and they're terrible for your, the Epson printers, the rolling printers. You don't put them in the same room. Like that powder will find the heat. And what's hot in a printer? Your print head. Like that powder, you'll wipe it off your print head every day. Yeah. So I tell people,
we were wiping it off our shirts. We were next to a DTF booth, and we had powder all
so we have one that we did demos, and we made Tyler do them outside. Literally, you do them outside. Don't do them in
the parking lot to do them,
because we don't want it sticking to anything that's in the printing room. So
people are talking about the unknown health benefits. I don't know if we'll ever get that figured out.
Benefits?
I mean, the health benefits.
Depends who you ask.
It's like yoga.
Well, it depends how much life insurance you have, I guess, if it's a benefit or not.
What would be the opposite of benefits,
Hazards.
Andrew? Hazards. The hazards of it. Yeah. So, I mean, but it was interesting to see people that are running sign shops have some interest in T-shirts and whatnot. Coming off of, we were at Impressions Expo in January, and that was like a whole different market of people looking at that. So it'll be interesting how that plays in. And is it just like a complementary product to a sign shop, or?
Yeah, the sign man's always looking for he's not looking for the big sales, but can I do 12 fast?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you say you need 15, then that's too many. But 10, 12, and DTF would be a quick 10, 12. But
and it's familiar to them, right? Like if they're running roll to roll, like they see the DTF and I already do that all day. That shouldn't be a problem at all. When the reality is, which is what we've tried to tell people when they're asking now, is like it's not the same. It's really not the same right now. So and the reliability is just not there for most of them.
We have one in our demo room. We can't keep running.
No,
we can't keep it running.
Well, it turns out they sent us the wrong parts, so that doesn't help either.
Well, and it's also, I mean, you guys touched on this in a previous podcast. I think you guys did with Vanguard, which was white ink, titanium dioxide is the most difficult ink because it just doesn't have the same properties as a regular ink. Well, white ink is used in DTF printing. So if you're printing 10 to 12 shirts, that might work. And at the show, it's going to work when they're printing roll to roll for 3 days straight. But what happens when you haven't had an order in 3 weeks and now you're trying to print 10 shirts?
That's why Signman has a problem, because chances are they're not doing t-shirts. They're just,
and it needs to run.
as someone asks, we can do it. And they send Sally in the back to do it and hasn't run in 2 weeks. And then they call us. And
you guys should make a bobblehead of Signman, and it has all the attributes of what Signman is.
Yeah.
So that when you say Signman, we can visualize.
Like we should go through. We're gonna record another podcast, I think. So we should go through like, what is Signman's favorite movie? What is Signman's favorite food? Like, so we can understand who is Signman.
Oh, we could probably go through that. I could probably pick it out.
Yeah.
But when we say Signman, people that like our direct competitors that do everything we do, we all know who Signman is.
Yeah.
When we talk about it, we're like, yep, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like so we overlap in that we sell a lot of the same printers and technologies, but our customer bases are different. So it's kind of cool to hear about, a different part of the market that we don't service in the same way that you guys do.
Yeah. So on the next podcast, we'll talk about a deeper understanding of Signman, and then we can tell you a deeper understanding of what we would call the photo snob.
Yeah.
That would probably be our
nerds.
equivalent.
Nerds.
We call them nerds. Signman and nerds are the two. I don't want to offend your customers, though, but they probably know they are.
Well, it probably would endear them to us even more. So go ahead and offend them.
They'll never buy from you.
We're pushing them away.
Yeah, don't
You know
call
what?
us.
Offend your own customers too. Offend everybody. One thing on ISA that I do want to say, in case people were wondering, the massage chairs were still there. So there's booths. You can get into a massage chair, and then they will try to sell you the actual chair for $3,000 to $6,000.
It got 40% cheaper on the last day if you really were interested. So
Never
just
buy it on
wait
a
out.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Just wait.
I didn't see any iPhone covers or things like that being sold, but there was the massage chair people.
Yeah, I was shocked I didn't see anybody trying to grab me out of the aisle to sell me the iPhone charger or little fan, but the massage chair. I'm hoping to get one. Today's my birthday. I'm hoping my kids, since I gave them all jobs, are going to get me one for my birthday.
No.
Is there going to be one at the house when I get back there?
No.
What did you want for your birthday?
Massage chair.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's like a personal massager from like Sharper Image or something.
The little massage guns. Yeah. That's what you're going to get. Yeah.
So,
All right. So we had massage chairs. Some larger media brands weren't there. Interesting. The presence of DTF. Not a ton of new technology being announced at ISA. We have Drupa coming up. FESPA just happened. So I wonder if, worldwide brands are waiting for Drupa. Because sometimes they'll use, because last year there wasn't Drupa, but there was FESPA. So coming out of like FESPA, some of the printers, but the European versions got announced. So then they were sort of out there going into ISA. Mm-hmm. But this year, maybe the announcement will happen at Drupa, and then we'll see it like at Printing United. I don't know.
That's what we were hearing from the show too, is that FESPA this year was not as good as it had been in the past. And that's what they're saying is more than likely they're just waiting for the bigger show that's literally right next to the other one, right? Yeah. Right next to FESPA. So, a lot of the people we talk to, which we don't do those shows, right? We're stateside, but, they were talking about, Drupa's going to be a big, big show this year. So maybe that's why we didn't see anything new at ISA too, is they're all just waiting for that one. But we probably would have already heard about it at this point if somebody was going to announce something. And it's been pretty much crickets on our side. So I don't expect any big announcements, but it would be cool to see one still.
Yeah. Yeah, I think FESPA, I know AGFA and EFI unveiled some new devices, but I think that's maybe in a tier even above the listener of this podcast for printers sometimes. But
nobody's above the tier of our podcast listeners.
Sure, top tier.
Yeah,
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Everybody should be listening.
Yeah. How dare you?
My apologies.
I want to ask about? You mentioned that your favorite part of a trade show is the food, that you pretty much just go for the food.
Yep.
And I feel similarly, like we work the trade show all day, and just the whole time I'm like, oh, I just can't wait for dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys eat?
Did you eat any good food in Orlando?
We ate an unbelievable amount of steak. There was some quitters in our group. Like, and you're consider if you order,
it's sounding like a Brazilian steakhouse right now.
If you got to make sure you finish your plate. Yeah. So we ate at the first one was Eddie V's.
Okay,
we started with that was a 28 ounce ribeye we all had.
I don't remember. That was a lot of steak.
I ate mine.
I did not eat mine.
You were 30 yards from a great restaurant.
What's the great one?
Rocco's Tacos.
We saw it on the way out.
Did you heard it bumping?
Yeah, we did hear it.
Yeah, it
turns into a nightclub.
It's the cool place.
That's what we heard. Yeah, at 9 p.m. it turns into a nightclub. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we were still trying to get those guys to finish their steaks that you guys were with. If you don't finish your steak, you don't get to go to the next show.
However, that place did have a butter cake dessert that was 2,300 calories. So if you ever need to just eat an unbelievable amount of calories, you can go there. Right. They have that cake. It's not that big for how many calories it is, which is terrifying.
Gosh. Put on weight. Yeah.
I know how hard it is to burn 700 calories.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like you do a hard workout and you burn 700 calories, and then you think about a piece like this cake for 23. You're like, it puts it into perspective.
It's like 8 bites.
It's also why I can't bench press more than
you got to be able to eat
15-pound.
But I did that. They lit that butter cake on fire.
Yeah, they did.
And I tried to eat a part of it while it's still on fire. It's too hot.
It's pretty That's interesting how that happens.
Yeah, go figure. It's literally on fire.
Not be on fire.
Yeah, it kept being on fire. I'm like, screw it. I grabbed
there watching it.
It was hot. It was hot.
Yeah.
All right. So you ate 28 ounces of steak the first night. How many ounces did we get to over the course of the?
Well, we're not sure how many ounces because we went to Brazilian Steakhouse the second night, and who knows how many.
At least 100
ounces.
It was a lot. Yeah.
Just green all night.
Yeah. It was unbelievable the amount of steak. Like in the rest of my table, I didn't get to sit with you guys. We had 2 different vendors take us, so we sat opposite sides of the room. But my guys didn't understand. You got to just keep your plate empty. Like keep it on green, and you have to eat it as fast as they come, no matter what. And my guys kept piling up. I have to turn your thing over. I'm like, every time we turn over, you're losing. Yeah, rookies,
first timers.
Yeah, now they know.
Have you ever worn gauchos?
No.
That's the pants that the people at the Brazilian place wear. They're like tight on top, and then tight on the calf, and real baggy in the middle.
To make space for the meat.
Maybe for his birthday. Get him a pair of gauchos.
I'm gonna get on Amazon. Yeah. You wouldn't believe. You probably do believe some of the stuff I'll wear.
You wouldn't believe what you can find on Amazon. No, I would definitely believe.
I thought about wearing my romper, my Christmas romper, to this meeting.
Your American flag. I'll appreciate.
All right, so you ate at Eddie V's, and you had a Brazilian steakhouse. Anywhere else?
And then we went to Charlie's, which is another steakhouse.
Charlie's. We had some people from our team go to Charlie's. They liked it.
That is very good.
It was very good.
That was by far, out of the 3 of them, that was by far the best.
Okay.
So we got another 20-some ounce steak, plus we got that huge lobster tail.
28-ounce lobster tail. That is a lot of lobster.
And then we had dessert.
That was the only option, though. That's the unfortunate part. When you're all just sitting there like, I'd like to have lobster, but I really don't need 28 ounces of lobster. Is there another option?
Do you think your customers are going to listen and they're going to be like, we're paying too much? There's just lobster and steak. You know what?
We didn't pay for a single meal.
It was free. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Vendors that appreciate us take us out.
There you go.
And we threw a couple customers in that the vendors paid for.
Yes, that's true too. But
they're listening right now too.
Yeah.
Sorry, laminators.
Yeah, they're like, we really run up the tab on them.
Yeah, we did a couple dinners. We did Cristini's, which is a old school Italian place that
like a mom movie.
It was really cool. There's a guy playing a accordion. They're bringing red roses to all the ladies. It was probably our best meal.
That was really good.
We ate at a place called Vito's Chop House. So they had really good service. Man, the service in Orlando this trip versus the service in
Atlanta.
Oh my
yes.
Yeah, not even close. Atlanta was
terrible.
Yeah.
You almost need to just go in the kitchen yourself in Atlanta and just get it yourself.
Yeah. And we went to a Mexican place that did tacos and tequila, and that was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
They always have a pretty cool vibe there. So, yeah. So we ate well. We also had chicken tenders and gray marbled brisket from the concession stand. I saw some people in the booth eating, and I was thinking, your body is not going to like you for that. But
our guys tried Chinese the first day. I did not. You did not either.
You guys worked me too hard. I didn't have time for lunch.
You tried to work us. They literally had to disappear so they could eat lunch, and they regretted it about an hour later. So
we did. Did you guys go to the gym when you're there? Because we got up every morning, went to the gym.
I did every day.
So we did too.
I didn't
Every
get
day.
to sleep though. That was the main problem.
Well, you
Just the
guys,
whole day and then getting up at 5 a.m. for.
I was
shows.
still recovering from being sick, so I didn't drink or anything. I just ate and went to the gym. So I had no alcohol the whole week, which is tough when you're at ISA because every night you have 3 happy hours, 2 dinners.
Yeah.
I've noticed on your podcast you talk a lot about drinking, but then you don't actually do it. Is it all like just a?
Yeah, I don't.
It's a
game.
It's a game.
We're just pretending.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, if you're still there and listening, that was our recap of ISA. Any final thoughts on ISA, Mike?
I don't have any final thoughts.
No, I think hopefully we'll have some new stuff next year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's Vegas next time though, right?
Yeah, so we'll get more people and way less Disney goers.
Oh
Yes.
man,
There you go.
That's the worst part about going to Orlando is like the flights in and out where it's just screaming children.
Yes.
and
On
then
the way out.
Oh, you guys don't.
Listen. On the way out, we had 12 wheelchairs.
No, I think it was more than
It
that.
might have been 20 wheelchairs, and half the plane was children.
Yeah.
And we literally, Grand Rapids is notorious when a Southwest flight comes in that you don't get your bags for like a half hour.
Right.
It took us more than that to get off the plane because they let all the handicapped people out first, and it was just like,
It was,
I mean,
it was a packed plane, and there was like 40 plus people in family boarding. Yeah.
Right now, there's like someone that does a Disney podcast, and they're doing a podcast, and they're like, and then you wouldn't believe how many people were coming from this stupid sign show. This one guy with red hair is just sitting there.
there's just lines of Signmen.
Yeah, well, it's just when we're taking, it's just like whole families, right, that are going. So it's like the kids and their parents, and then their grandparents all going. So that's just Orlando.
it's not terrible compared to like what it was 2 weeks ago when we were there when we actually had spring break.
Yeah,
It was horrible.
Yeah.
During spring break.
Yeah.
This wasn't bad. I mean, it's if you have pre-check, you don't have to get in line with all those little kids. No problem.
Yeah. All right. So that's a little recap of ISA. Hopefully, if you weren't able to go, you learned a couple things or knew what you did or didn't miss. And if you did go, hopefully what we said resonates. If not, leave comments on Wensko's podcast, the Slightly Serious podcast.
You forgot sign. It's slightly serious.
Slightly
sign.
Serious Sign podcast. Did I not say sign?
I think you said slightly serious.
Well, if the sign one doesn't work out, you just do the Slightly
Yeah.
Serious.
Well, the last one was just slightly serious. We didn't talk about signs.
All right. Well, we talked about a trade show. Stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to do another collab, and we're actually going to talk about some similarities, some differences between the companies, and some other stuff that we might even not know what we're going to say. So stay tuned. That's it for this episode. Have a great one.